Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing this 2024 Buick Enclave Avenir. Before we get in this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and thank you to the National GMC here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Enclave. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for David. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6-liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 17 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 266 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, the white paint kind of hides what's happening, but there's some body lines off to either side and then a little one in the center. Now, the light design here in the Enclave is crazy. I mean, look at the lighting there at the top, and then you guys can see down below with the actual headlight cluster and everything. It just looks very spaceship-like is the best way to put it. We do have parking sensors integrated in the front end. You guys can see here with all the silver and the Buick logos as well. And putting it all together, it definitely has a futuristic appearance. Covering the side here, our tire wheel setup is 255, 55, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, you've got this kind of grayish silver there. Looks really good. Anyways, got some more silver on the side, Avenir down below, and then you can see the silver trim there at the bottom, also on the door handles and window trim as well. And then here is your full side view with the Enclave. Here's a quick look at the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, remote start, and then the opening for the hatch as well. Now, popping inside, you guys can see the third row is folded down, and we've got quite a bit of storage space with all of that folded down. It's quite impressive. And then we've got this little storage area as well, and then we can actually raise the third row up. We just got to press those buttons right there. I guess the other one's stuck behind the seat, so it happens. But anyways, now you guys can see the storage space with the third row up. A little bit different. Anyways, when you're all done, just press that button and that will lower the hatch right down. You guys can see the badges here as the hatch is lowering as well. And then look at this with the trim that connects it. And then I love the taillights. The coloration looks really cool. And then we do have some parking sensors there at the bottom. Putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the looks here on the Enclave. Now, taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see soft touch, and then look at this trim that goes across in the silver trim down below, and then we've got more of our padding right here. Window control here for the rear, and then you can see the speaker for the sound system down below. And here's a quick look at one of the seats. I love the design in the center with all of the perforated trim. Looks great. Legroom back here is solid. We got a little storage pocket, and then you guys can see we've got our own climate zone here in the rear, heated seats as well, a bunch of charging ports on top of that. By the way, these seats are super comfortable. The padding's really good. And then last but not least, headroom's good. Now in the third row, legroom back here is decent. We've got a little USB action here, some cup holder action, and then headroom back here is good. And then something that, well, it's kind of hard to see, is the third row seats look just like the second row seats, so they didn't cheap out, which I really appreciate. And here's a quick kind of look at the third row seat. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see soft touch here, and then look at the trim down below, and then all of the padding here. All of our window controls here, notice that one's automatic. Got your mirror adjustments, the mirrors do power fold in, and then your memory seat function, and then we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Notice the seat says Avenir, which is really cool. Got it perforated trim all down the center, and then you guys can see with the seat adjustments there on the side, and then we have this for the heads-up display. As you can see, steering wheel is power adjustable. So here's a look at the steering wheel, soft touch all around. Of course, got the Buick logo front and center. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel with our radio controls for the center stack, as well as our cruise control and heated steering wheel button. And then you guys can see the stocks here on the back. So here's a quick look at the gauge cluster. It's analog on the outside, and then you've got a screen there in the center, which will give you different bits of info here on the Enclave. Pretty standard stuff overall. Now we do have some different drive modes we can go through. We've got a touring, sport, and then a tow haul mode that you can go between. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. You got the bird's eye view as well, and I mean you can see out of a ton of different angles here with the camera system. Gotta love GM's 360 camera. It's a really good system overall. Now as for the rest of the infotainment screen, response time's great. It has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you guys will notice on the outside you've got stuff like your auto stop start, your auto drive mode, and then your just drive mode select, which is interesting. And then you can see lane departure on the other side, parking sensors, hazard lights. So it's kind of interesting they've combined all of this on the outside of the screen itself. And then it's soft touch here on the dash that goes across, and then this is really cool with the trim. It kind of goes to the vent. It's a cool look, if you ask me. And then you guys can see analog control for the radio. Got our dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats as well. And then this is like our charging area, as you can see. Some nice wood trim here in this area, some cup holders, and then our transmission select, which is interesting. A bunch of buttons and pull tabs. Look at that. It's just different. Soft touch here, and then you guys can see with the center console, decent with the storage space. Got some nice padding here on the top as well. And speaking of storage space, here's a quick look at the glove box, and then we do have a rear view camera mirror, which is a big, nice thing. And then we've got the sunroof here in the front. We do have another one in the back as well, as you can see, so it's like a double sunroof. All the controls fit right there. So there's quite a bit of glare, so it's gonna be hard to see the window sticker. But anyways, base MSRP $59,500. After all options, this one stickers for $63,345. Let's see how it drives. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can see the heads-up display now. Both the mirrors. Throw this to the rear. And, well, let us set off in the Avenir. If you guys aren't familiar with Buick in the Avenir package, this is kind of like Buick's luxury, right? Buick is an interesting brand because you've got Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac under the same umbrella. Chevy's like your entry level, GMC they call professional grade, so it's kind of like your middle of the line. Cadillac's luxury, and so Buick, I don't know, like when you look at the cars, you know, they're kind of like not quite luxury, but also kind of like, it seems like they're trying to be. It's definitely a brand in a really weird place, that is for sure. But anyways, what I will say is these seats are comfortable. So I think that is a big plus, and we'll see how this V6 performs. Pretty good. Also, I'm pretty sure this has a massaging seat because I feel like I'm getting a massage right now. Not gonna complain about that. That's nice. That's definitely nice. Yeah, ride quality's good. You know, I mean, it does have kind of a luxury feel to it, but I will say it also doesn't feel too different from like a Traverse or an Acadia, for example. So there's that as well. But it does, I mean, it does drive pretty well, and I do like a lot of the touch points. Again, it feels like this is almost in between Cadillac and Chevy in terms of the luxury. It seems like maybe that's what they're trying to do, which is strange because that's also what GMC does, but also differently. it's all interesting, confusing at the same time. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of get into setting things up. I think this thing looks pretty cool on the outside. The styling's definitely out there. Drives well. There's nothing really bad I can say about it. I just, like I said, it seems like it's a lot in the GM lineup, because now it's like you got the Traverse, you got the Acadia, you got this, you got the XT6, and there's a lot of like price crossover, there's a lot of feature crossover. So I mean, if you guys understand better than me, like, let me know, like, what's the point of getting this over a Traverse or over an Acadia or XT6, and then those vice versa. I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. So overall, I think it's a great car. But it's, you know, I guess it does have kind of its own special feel, but it's in this weird place where it's kind of a luxury car and it's kind of not at the same time. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.